Imagine this moment. You're standing in front of a woman you genuinely want. She's attractive, sharp, confident, the type of woman who doesn't reveal much on the surface. She looks at you politely. She smiles, but you can feel it. She's already drifting away. She's physically present, but emotionally distant. Interested enough to be respectful, detached enough to leave at any second. And in that moment, most men panic. They feel the gap forming, so they rush to fill it. They talk more. They explain more. They try harder. They believe they need to prove something before the window closes. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine you don't need a perfect face. You don't need status. You don't need the right lifestyle, the right story, or the right line. You don't even need to impress her. You say just two words, calmly, slowly, without smiling, without explaining. And suddenly something changes. Her eyes pause. Her attention hesitates. The dynamic shifts. You didn't chase her. You didn't flatter her. You didn't ask for anything. You simply stated something that most men are too afraid to even think. In this video, you're going to understand why those two words can instantly create tension with almost any woman. Not through manipulation, not through tricks, but by activating a deep psychological trigger that most men never touch. And if you stay until the end, you'll stop seeing attraction the same way, because you'll realize something most men never do. It's not the words that change everything, it's the internal state behind them. Most men fail with women for the wrong reason, not because they're unattractive, not because they're broke, not because they're awkward. They fail because they've been conditioned to approach women like beggars. They seek approval. They want to be chosen. They try to please. They believe attraction comes from saying the right thing, being nice, being funny, being agreeable. They think seduction is about giving her what she wants to hear. But that strategy doesn't work. In fact, it does the opposite. It repels. Because deep down, a woman isn't looking for a man who tries to seduce her. She's looking for a man who knows why he's there. Attraction is not a performance. It's psychological tension. And you cannot create tension while asking yourself, does she like me? The moment you want to be chosen, you lose power. The moment you try to convince her, you're already behind. Real attraction begins when you step outside the game. When you look at a woman and want nothing from her except honesty in the moment. No mask, no strategy, no hidden agenda, just presence. And this is where the two words come in. Most men all speak the same language. What do? You're beautiful. Do you want to get a drink? Waiting words, soft words, words that place the woman above them. And she feels it instantly. She feels the hierarchy. She feels the expectation. She feels the need underneath the sentence. And in her mind, she labels it quickly. Another one. A rare man does something very different. He enters the space calmly. He observes her posture, her controlled smile, the way she manages her presence. He doesn't rush to fill silence. He allows the quiet to stretch. And when he finally speaks, he says only two words. I know. He doesn't explain what he knows. And that's exactly why it works. Because in that moment, something unsettling happens inside her. I know can mean anything. I know you're bored. I know you're guarded. I know there's more behind that smile. I know you're pretending to be fine. Her mind fills in the blank on its own. And because this breaks the usual social noise, her attention locks in. This is no longer a casual exchange. It becomes a subtle confrontation. And confrontation, not compliments, is what creates desire. Not because she feels flattered, but because she feels seen. And being seen is far more intense than being admired. That tension is the secret, not humor, not looks, not status. It's the ability to see clearly and not explain. Most men want outcomes, reactions, validation. This man doesn't. He already knows. And she feels that difference immediately. I know. No smile, no justification, no follow-up. A man who says this isn't trying to take anything from her. He isn't trying to impress her. He's already centered. And that centered presence is both unsettling and deeply attractive. Now, here's what actually happens inside her mind, because this is where most men misunderstand the reaction. When a woman hears I know, spoken slowly, calmly, and followed by silence, her mind accelerates. Not because you're being mysterious, not because you're playing a role, but because you've created a vacuum. And the human brain hates empty space, especially when that space is charged with tension. That simple phrase triggers something primitive. She starts interpreting, projecting, questioning. What does he know? Is he talking about me? Did he notice something I didn't want noticed? This is no longer conversation. It's emotional activation. Every woman carries an inner world she rarely shows. contradictions, doubts, old wounds, roles she plays to stay in control socially. Most men never touch that layer because they're too busy performing. They stay on the surface, following scripts, chasing approval. But in a world where almost every man behaves the same way, a man who seems to see past the surface hits a nerve. Not because he flatters her, but because he recognizes her. And recognition is confronting. To be seen is to be exposed to your own truth. That's why her reaction is both magnetic and unsettling. She feels that you don't need her. You're not chasing validation. You're not trying to win anything. You're simply present. She might laugh. She might deflect. She might change the subject. But internally, something opens, a crack. Curiosity, tension, vulnerability. You didn't seduce her with words. You created resonance. And then something important happens. She starts saying what you didn't. She fills the silence. She explains. She opens up, not because of a tactic, but because of your stillness. And that voluntary opening is the real connection. Not forced, not pulled out of her, chosen. That's why this works. Because it isn't triggered by need, it's triggered by awareness. Most men misunderstand women here. Women live in a world of appearances, social roles, politeness, control. Meeting a man who doesn't play along feels like standing in front of a mirror without makeup. Uncomfortable, disturbing, and strangely irresistible. That's what she experiences when you say, I know. And this is also why it doesn't work if you say it to get something, if you're waiting for a reaction, if you're hoping to impress her, if you're using it as a move. It collapses. This only works when it's real, when you genuinely see her, when you're already whole without her. In the next video, I'll show you how to live in this state naturally. Not as a trick, but as who you are. Because those two words aren't magic. They're simply an honest expression of grounded presence. If you want to explore these deeper psychological dynamics, subscribe to the channel. We don't sell lines here. We explore what unsettles, what transforms, and what actually creates attraction. See you soon.